可以照着抄，
对，
因为万一说真的不会的话，
这样的话学的比较快。
对啊，因为其实这个就是给对方 agent 的第一印象 ，first impression。
对的，
对，如果你的合约给人家的话，做的好看，
对，要不然写错了也不对啊。
对啊。
这样子，请教一个问题，
请说。
我这个问题就是说，比如说我在 open house，他跟客人都谈得蛮好，他也很有意愿要买来要看，那他意思是说，比如说叫我帮他多找一些法让他参考要怎么样，可是我 email 过去了 ，text 过去了，他假如说都没有什么反应的话，是不是直接打电话给他，还是说他没有兴趣，还在找，还有什么方法？
你可以继续试试看来讲的话，问题是你要让他到底的 motivation。
有些是说他一定要买，可是他一直在找，他只要，比如说他只要diamond bar，所以我就找diamond bar。OK。我帮他留过以后，他大概大概他的 price， 我帮他留过以后，然后我发给他。
那你跟他看有没有 any other city 会 consider 就是 no，
他不要任何 city。
那一本王呢？
他有，他说沃纳也可以，要不然diamond bar。OK。可是问题我在问题就是说我 information 过去以后，他们都不会有 answer 这个东西。
你跟他讲说 ，if you don't respond, then 你为什么 ？Why should I have to continue follow up with you？ 你要直接问他。
你就要 question 他就对了。
Yeah， 因为怎么样 ？You gotta let me know。因为现在怕的是怎么样？是 one thing afraid is like people, probably the part-time agent, what they did is like they find you to open the door, show the property, and then find someone else.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm worried about.
所以 that's why you need to respond. 你要等他，你不 respond， 你只说是 unconditionally give out all your information. Why should I? 因为那些 part-timer, they don't have access to MLS. They're waiting for you to access.
Right.
就是这样子，然后他们再去 Zillow, go, find the address and type it in, for the purchase agreement. Yeah.
那像这种if that way, how can we handle it?
If they don't respond, I'm not going to send you more information. I'm not going to give you more information. That's it. Until you tell me. So anything you like it, you gotta say, okay, this time if those are somebody you don't even know, say, well, at least you gotta let me know. Whatever the email I emailed to you, those listing, you find anything you like it or any feedback. If no, not even calling me or text me or send me the email, no feedback, and why should I have to give you the free information? 所以你要稍微要 control 一点就是。
所以我就是在这种各种，在这种 feeling 里面，我就感觉到 something wrong。
Say, well, if you're not responding, how do I know? First of all, did you receive my email? Right? When we email the listing, we call. Have you received my email? No answer. Have you received my email? No answer. Okay, if I call 3 times, still not responding. No more next time until they call. If they don't like it, no hard feelings. Drop it. Yeah, because I know you feel like you are a newcomer and you got tons of time for you, but actually we only have 24 hours for everybody. Okay, and how do you utilize it? The time. You can do anything better. 5 minutes, more leads. Life give you the hope. Yeah. 你不要说一直 hope 的话，it's not gonna help them.
Yeah， 因为我这种感觉，感觉那我就找到
的话，see if they respond. If they don't responding, drop it. You can have better things to do. Find more. Yeah. Yesterday I just heard the news. Did you ever heard about when someone sell the brand new home for 50% off? Buy one get one free. Sure. You know what happened? Where happened now? Yeah, in China. I know, but if they start doing that, you know what happened? It's because they have tons of debt. All the top 5 builder, they have $7 trillion debt.
They have increased the price.
7兆人民币的债。
它有涨价吗？
没有涨价。
我的房子也不涨，它买一送一。
买一送一没涨价。The same price. So you know what happened? They have a riot. Whoever purchased the house before, they get the discount. Now they have riot. Why should I have to pay more? I pay double. Boy. Because they're looking for, they have to survive. So that's probably why it's not healthy, to begin with. I say, well, yeah, because you never see it, any builder, buy one get one free, or 50% off. I know it's depend on the city. But the issue is, the builder must be losing money when you get 50% off. Why they need those money? Because they are in debt and they have to pay the interest. They do have a pressure. And still, that's what I still looking at. If someone they can still have the way to move out the money, they will still doing so. Because it's not because they give it 50% off, they will sell the house. No, the whole month. 0 transaction. Some of a builder, and this is for the whole complex, 0 transaction for whole months. People are afraid of buying it right now. Just like how many buyers we have asking us, going down, right? Same thing. If we have the listing over like say $600,000. We can feel the pressure. The pressure from seller is saying, well, how come it's not selling? Yeah. And the seller will work. If you have an offer, seller probably work all the way, with you, with the buyer. If it's a reasonable offer, they will try to keep them, make it happen. So if you have a buyer, somebody is serious, okay. I mean, don't be afraid to ask for the discount, especially, like here in Irvine. The Irvine got tons of listing right now. Yeah. And all the listing agents, they're begging for an offer. Just an offer, not multiple offer, an offer. Yeah, but Linda is still, for the more like luxury home, or same thing, close to $1 million, same thing. Everybody have a pressure. So I mean Yorba Linda probably a little bit better than Irvine, but still, yeah. Just like when if we have a listing in Walnut and Diamond Bar, don't get so excited yet, unless your price is really, really, really good.
I see that Irvine go up.
Go up?
Yeah, even not a good house, and 1.5 million.
That's because they have asked too much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's why, if you're looking at, put it this way, if you have $1 million, would you buy the house or you buy the PUD or buy the townhouse? House, yeah. But in Irvine, that's probably what you get, a PUD or townhouse. And that's why not only that, they have a Melrose, they have HOA. That's all the extra expense. Okay, we'll continue on the Okay, good. Get one set of okay. I could. Okay. Okay, that's starting with J, long term. Just, reminding you, the appraisal contingency removal and the long term, and default, if you see that appraisal, same as the audit inspection disclosure, totally 17 days after acceptance. Okay, after acceptance, not open escrow. Sometimes open escrow next week, for example, if you accepted on Friday, what's the first day start accounting? Saturday. It's not open escrow, it's the first day, the Monday. No. So the 17th day is a calendar day. Always remember that, calendar days, not business day. The only thing is business day is when you turn in your initial deposit, 3 business day. Just like yesterday, doesn't count 1 day. Why? Because bank did not open. Columbus Day, I know. A lot of people think, what day? No, Columbus Day. Yeah. So as an agent, we don't get any day off until we get vacation. Technically, every day you are working. Every day you are standing by. So just like this, calendar day. We work on calendar days, okay? We didn't work on business day. So loan contingent, J1 loan application within 3 days, default 3 days after acceptance, buyer should deliver a seller letter from the buyer's lender or loan broker, stated that based on the review of a buyer's written application and credit report, buyer is pre-qualified or pre-approved for a new loan specified in paragraph 3D. If any loan specified in paragraph 3D is an adjustable rate loan, the pre-qualification and pre-approval letter shall be based on qualifying rate, not the initial loan rate. Starting on the first one first. The loan application, usually when we turn in, the offer already submitted. That's why we try to get the pre-qualification or pre-approval letter. And we mark the check mark, letter attached. That means when we submit the offer, I already have it. In good old day, we just submit the offer. We don't really need to show you the pre-qualified letter or the proof of fund yet. We've got 3 days, and we know we can get the loan. Back on a good old day, anybody can get a loan. Okay, as long as you're mentally healthy. Well, why are we mentally healthy? You're gonna have to sign a loan doc, right? You are awake. Okay, you are, first of all, you have to be breathing, mentally healthy. We'll get you the loan. Yeah. Doesn't matter you have a job or not. It doesn't matter. We'll get you the loan. And the that's back in the before 2007 financial crisis. Okay. That's what we are facing it right now in China. Okay. That's probably when you see those, when I just mentioned to you, when they get the 50% off on a brand new house, or buy one get one free for buying a house, and that's what's a sign for financial crisis. Yeah, because that's an issue. Now they're starting, and the so if you're looking at this one, probably at this moment not so realistic, but they still live it at 3 days. Okay, you gotta have to turn in. Otherwise, if you do not turn in a pre-qualifying letter, what do? seller can give you notice buyer to perform and cancel you. Just like if you don't turn in your initial deposit within 3 days, what seller can do, they will issue you a notice buyer to perform. Tell you, if you don't turn in your, I'll give you another 2 more days. If you do not turn in your initial deposit, then seller has a right to cancel. Okay, same thing right here. So, and so do the proof of fund. Proof of fund, that's including cash offer or down payment. And so the pre-qualifying letter. See the default, all 3 days. They all stated at 3 days. And plus, but this is 3 days, is calendar days. The only thing is the escrow initial deposit, that's a 3 business day. Okay, clear? And the second half, you know, when they say the pre-qualifying, usually we don't really have adjustable loan right now. But if you do have somebody apply for the adjustable loan, usually you still have like, we call like a 3-1, 5-1, or 7-1 loan. That's mean the first 3 years fixed, 5 years fixed, or first 7 years fixed, maybe up to 10 years. And some of them, they even do the first year fixed. Like Sterling Bank, they have first year fixed rate, and the second year they start adjustable. Those are, your pre-qualifying is supposed, not just initial rate, because initial rate doesn't mean anything. And when you do the pre-qualifying letter, it's because initial rate usually cheaper. Second year after adjustable, then it's higher. Yeah. So that's why those are, tell you the difference, not the initial rate. It has to be for the qualifying rate. And 2, loan contingency. Buyer should act diligent and in good faith to obtain the designated loan. Buyer's qualification for the loan specified above is a contingency of this agreement unless otherwise agreed in writing. If either no appraisal contingency or the appraisal contingency has been waived or removed, the failure of the property to appraise at the purchase price does not entitle buyer to exercise the cancellation right pursuant to the loan contingency. If the buyer is otherwise pre-qualifying for the specific loan and buyer contractual obligation regarding deposit balance and down payment and closed escrow are not contingent of this agreement. What's that wording telling you? I know it's like, we can make it simple. What's that telling you? The appraisal. If it doesn't appraise your purchase price, you cannot exercise because appraisal to cancel the loan. The loan actually approved. The appraisal value, if you only have 20% down, because appraisal value did not meet on the purchase price, and the buyer only got so limited on their down payment. They say, then I don't have enough down payment to finance, so I cancel. Can I exercise the loan contingency? No. N-O, no. That's why they stated right here. And the old purchase agreement doesn't state that. Did I exercise that? Been there, done that. And that's how they prevent, like the agent like me. We exercise that. Okay? So that's why I tell you there used to be the gray area. Now make it clear. So I cannot exercise it anymore because the appraisal value doesn't meet on the purchase price. Then I exercise the loan contingency. You cannot. So the loan actually based on the purchase price, and you can get the loan will go through. But if the purchase price, if appraisal value is lower, like 10,000, 20,000 lower, then suddenly the buyer gotta come out with the extra down payment to finance 80% of a loan, and he or she doesn't have it. Then do you say consider the loan doesn't go through, doesn't approve? No, the loan it's approved based on the purchase price. Okay, so that's why the statement telling you the loan actually it's approved based on the purchase price, but appraisal Now, used to be the old purchase agreement before 2015, actually 2014, it's appraisal and loan contingency. We combined together 17-day total. So we could exercise that. Now they separated appraisal contingency and loan contingency. They separate two others. Used to be combined. Appraisal and loan, they all combined, total 17-day contingency. So that's the difference now. Appraisal, still keep it at 17-day. But why the other 21-day? Because they want to make sure your loan, because you turn in the appraisal report, you give you some time for the underwriter to get everything, get the final approval. That makes sense, right? 4 more days. But if you have something, if you're doing like the government loan, then you may need a longer time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, some of the loan, you can borrow the money from county or from city. You know, some of that's more like a first-time buyer assistance loan. But they only got so limited, you have to line up, okay, if you heard about that. And usually at that situation, it's more like a second loan. And you just, you know, make sure everything is qualified, because if your appraisal value doesn't meet, well, then we're really in big trouble. Not only that, we might need a longer contingency date, because they do not issue, or they did not review your application, okay, until certain day. They only have like every month or every 2 months, they have reviewing application date. So you gotta have to turn in soon enough. When you turn in, it's more like, you know, it's not like you turn in ahead of time. Right at that particular day, you send in the application right away. So those are, if the situation, you gotta finding the experienced loan agent to do that, if you have those buyers. I know some people say, do you have any first-time buyer assistance loan? Well, yeah, but usually you help them to either they can go through online, okay, on those county or city website. Yes. 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 80%。Yes. Yes. 所以他是按 appraisal 的价钱来借给你。Yes. 所以 buyer 就有 actual 的这3万块，再 plus 那个20%。Yes. Yes. 所以你要 verify 他有这么多的 actual 的钱才可以。Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know it's like only Brian doesn't understand. That's okay. I'll explain to you. Her question is, if the purchase price is $600,000 and the appraisal value only come out to $570,000. So based on what, you know, your question is like, the lender only finance $570,000 of 80% of $570,000, not 600, because the appraisal value come out $570,000 is short. So the buyer gotta have extra money to cover $30,000 because your purchase price is 600. Okay, so that's why we have appraisal contingency. That's the time you want to buy it or not. You buyer, okay, and seller either tell the seller, say, look, this is appraisal value. That means obviously you're asking too much. I love your house, okay, but you ask too much. Can you lower the price? I can tell you 99% of a seller, no. Okay, what's next? How about start negotiating that $30,000? I don't want to pay $30,000. How about $10,000? I'll pay $10,000. You lower $20,000. You start. That's what another negotiation, right? That's why our negotiation does not finish. Even during the escrow, we still negotiate purchase agreement, repair items, appraisal. Maybe sometime we need to extend the contingency day, extend the escrow date. It's all about negotiation. Because I did negotiate that appraisal value to be lower. But some of the listing agent, if they know they list the price higher than the market price, and you know the market is hot. Like a couple years ago, now it's not so hot. A couple years ago, it's so hot. You know what we do on the counter offer? You gotta have to remove the appraisal contingency. Well, if I choose you, for example, a lot of people, if we set down, say, if the $500,000, sometimes what we open escrow with higher than the asking price, right? When I put on the market, it's asking price because you pay more because your likeness. I love this house. I'm willing to pay more. But you better prepare more money, not just by talking or by writing. You gotta have to actually show me the money, you know, on the bank statement. So you'll be able to cover the above asking price amount. Because usually on listing price, we feel comfortable. You can be appraised at. I don't really like to, you know, list the overpriced listing, but sometimes it has to. Then the we use that as a bait to attract more buyer and buy something else. Doesn't it's not my listing. It's okay. Hey, sellers not listen. Are you going to argue with them? Because you argue, you lose, you lost the listing. I still take the list. Well, it's not surely. If I over 20%, that's too much. If over 10%, probably I will take it. But most likely, I know it's like, bless you. Most likely, I will not sell it. Now, what do? Do the open house, grab the buyer. Hey, why don't we just buy your neighbor's house? Another house. Do I got to lose? No. Who lost? Seller. I still get a commission. It's just for buyer's commission instead of a listing commission, right? And sometimes if the seller not pay me enough, why don't I just buy your neighbor's house? Hey, they pay me better. Let's buy their house. So that's why it's all about money talk. Not only the price has to be right, and also commission has to be good enough. Okay. But I mean, sometimes if we have those so stubborn buyer, that's what this said. This is the price I want, and that's only the commission I pay you. Take or leave it. Then you got to think hard. You want to take it or leave it? If you take it, fine. Utilize that listing and grab the buyer, buy someone else. How can you expect the seller? Should I keep the loyal to you? Because you are looked down on us, the seller, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You are looked down on our profession. You don't respect our career. You don't respect our profession. That's why you pay us less. When you ask attorney or doctors discount, do you think they will do your operation? They will see, what the heck? You know, I think I will get paid anyway. You know, so what? You know, should I have to fight hard for your case? Should I have to do my best? No, because you pay me less if they really accept it. But usually they won't. We are more pathetic. We accept it. Okay, so when somebody give you like 3% commission, total commission, would you take it? Oh, I probably won't. But if I have to, okay, if it's by friends or something, if I have to, fine. You give what, 2? Even, you know, my bottom line is 4%, no matter what. Okay. But worst come worst, if you need to, okay, because somebody begging you to take the listing, what do? Okay, fine, I'll take it, but don't expect me I will sell it. Yeah, you want me to take it? You don't pay me enough. Why should I have to work hard for you? If I work hard for myself, grab the buyer and buy someone else, something else. Okay. Yeah.
One more question. Okay, we talk about the 600,000.
Yes.
If we buy 600,000, you know, before I was told that the content was.
Yes. Yes.
So I need to money. If how much money I need to prepare in the bank for the customer will be safely because the appraisal is lower. Okay, if you know the appraisal is lower, we need to prepare at least 5% more. 5% more. At least. So better way 5 to 10. 5 to 10%. Okay, if you have 20%, your bank better have a 5 or 10% more. Then you're done, you know, then your purchase price. Yeah, so we can talk to the buyer and say, hey, better way bank insurance. Yeah. And money in your account. Yes. If you do not have those extra money, you tell buyers, say, well, if the appraisal value coming out and if we still cannot negotiate, or if you wish or
say the seller will tell you to remove the appraisal contingency, you better think hard. You better finish your appraisal contingency before 17 days. So if we did, those are you gotta have enough money because you don't have appraisal contingency anymore. You don't have 17 days. They say, oh, because appraisal value lower, I can cancel. No, you don't have that privilege anymore because you waive it. Here, right? Because if you has been waived or removed, that means no appraisal contingency anymore. Gone. Gone. Yeah. So you got to consider that. You cannot because of the appraisal doesn't meet the purchase price, and you cannot exercise a loan contingency. So it's two separate things now. Loan contingency is loan contingency. Appraisal contingency, appraisal contingency. Two different items now. They're totally separated. Clear? Okay. And number 3, loan contingency removal within 21 days after acceptance. Buyer should, as specified in paragraph 14 in writing, remove the loan contingency or cancel this agreement. If there is appraisal contingency, remove of the loan contingency shall not be deemed remove of the appraisal contingency. What's the last sentence telling you? Pretty confusing? What's that telling you? What do you mean remove the loan contingency? If there is appraisal contingency, remove the loan contingency and shall be deemed removable of the appraisal contingency. What's that telling you? Because now we separate appraisal contingency and loan contingency. Did you ever deal with that issue before? The loan is approved. Appraisal hasn't finished yet. See that? Remove the loan contingency should not be deemed removal of the appraisal contingency. That means when you remove loan contingency, doesn't mean you remove appraisal contingency. It's a two separate thing now. So can you remove the loan contingency and leave the appraisal contingency active? Yes. So if the appraisal doesn't meet the purchase price, can you still cancel? Yes, even your loan is approved because the appraisal doesn't meet the purchase price and I don't have enough down payment. Or sometimes the buyer just don't feel comfortable. I paid too much. I want to cancel. Can they do that? Sure, even they have 50% down. So what? I still want to cancel. Why? Because I feel I paid too much.
But if you cancel, you lose your deposit.
No. Because I still have appraisal contingency. Sometimes purposely we extend the appraisal contingency. Okay? Because for some reason, particular reason, appraisal has to be 2 appraisal coming up instead of 1 appraisal if the larger loan. The loan is approved. The buyers, they are well qualified, but the lender requires 2 appraisal report instead of 1. So we're gonna have to wait for the second one. Then the lender will make sure this is the right price. So that's why sometimes the buyer has to pay 2 appraisal. Sometimes buyer may tell the lender pay for it, but most likely they may pay 2 appraisal report. If the larger loan, like if you want to finance $1 million, hey, bank is wait a minute, it's not 400, 1 million. I better have 2 appraisal. Yeah. Then buyer understand. Okay, they have to pay 2 appraisal report coming out. So that's the purpose. They have to wait. First appraisal report coming out, send to the underwriter. Okay, then they will request. Okay, second appraisal. It's not like I send out 2 appraisal at the same time now. Usually lender will do the sequence. First one, if they're going out, if they feel comfortable, they will not send the second one. If they need to send the second one, they will say so. But they will delay. So then usually you have to file the appraisal contingency extension. But sometimes it may exceeding the loan contingency, and the bank say, yeah, the loan is fine. You can remove the loan contingency, but appraisal, you leave it.
Well, if the buyer doing this just for the purpose, that should be all right. Say I don't like it. And I would say that the appraisal too, I will pay too much money. I don't want to buy.
Then you don't have to get within 17 days. Okay, usually we don't give any answer, but appraisal, those are pretty obvious. Okay, why we disclose the appraisal to the seller? What's the purpose? If the appraisal value lower than the purchase price, why we disclose to the seller?
Try to negotiate better price.
That's right. If the appraisal value higher to a seller, do I disclose it? No. Yeah. 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 Sometimes they will not appraise too much higher than the purchase price because that's the guideline for the appraiser. Even we know the appraisal value is higher, but they may not go exceeding the purchase price or too much. They will break even or a few $1,000s more. Okay, they will not truly reflected the right appraisal if they only meet the purchase price, because all the appraiser they're not gonna jeopardize their license if they say my job is meet the purchase price. That's it. That's my bottom line. If I reach that, done. Okay. The only thing they will reflect the true value is divorce case by court order. They need to appraise. Or somebody passed away on the probate, they need to appraise. Those doesn't have a limitation. So they will give you the true value to the court. That's different. Yeah. Because I had the appraisal license before. So I did it. I give up. Sure, that's a buyer's right. If the cash buyer ask for the appraisal? Absolutely, yes. If they're willing to pay that and they want to get the appraisal value, why not? They hired appraisal. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Appraisal value come out if it's a cash buyer, can they still negotiating with the seller for the appraisal, for the value, appraisal value and purchase price value. And seller can say no, and buyers can say no either. Both. No, let me cancel. Someone gotta say, okay, fine, we're willing to negotiate. If both parties say no, then cancel. Cash buyer, if you market an all cash offer, okay, you market right here, for example, right? If I market all cash offer, do you see that? Okay. No, this one, 这个是 for the down payment because you have no down payment. That's why you cannot market. Okay, they're pretty smart now. Okay. Then, can you still keep this? Yes, because this is default. Appraisal contingency is default. Unless you mark no. Yes, they can mark that. All cash, can you give up your appraisal contingency? If you want this property so bad, you can remove your appraisal contingency, even it's all cash offer. But if you do not mark here, that means you still reserve the right to appraise, even you pay all cash. Yeah. No, I hired an appraisal at the same time when the inspection is there. I had the finance before in 3 weeks. You know how quickly what we do. Okay, right after we open escrow, we had an inspection. You know what? Bank ordered the appraisal right away. So inspector and appraisal, they're going to come in at the same time. I had that situation before. Then we can close escrow in 3 days for financing. So that means default. The appraisal contingency is still on. Yes, you find your own appraisal. 对，然后看他们自己怎么 appraise. Yeah. Because appraisal is a third party, even buyer finding the appraisal, and they still, use best of the knowledge to appraise the value. Okay. They will try their best to meet the purchase price, but if the support, the SOCOM, sometimes, what we did is like, if the SOCOM comparable is not good enough to support it, then we have to find a pending com and the active com. The worst thing is usually we use a 3 SOCOM. If we can support it, fine. If you cannot support it, then I got to add in 3 pending com. Then I call the buyer's agent. I mean the listing agent. How much you went into the escrow? I can know ahead of time. But if the regular agent, they won't we usually won't disclose it. But as a listing agent, when an appraiser called in and say, I need to appraise which property, can you tell me how much I know you have a one pending, in the neighborhood, how much you went into the escrow? They will ask, and I will disclose it. That's fine. Then if the 3 pending comp is still not enough, then I gotta have to use 3 active comp. So total, they have to use 9 comp comparable. That's the worst thing, because every comparable listing, I have to do the calculation. Instead of doing 3 calculations, I do 9. That's a nightmare for the appraiser, okay? So those are, and the loan contingency, can you remove that? Yeah, you could. But since you're all cash, they see that, they cannot let you market. But if the financing, for example, if you have a buyer say, fine, give me 30-day financing. If I cannot get finance, I will pay all cash. Can you use that? Remove loan contingency. Because no matter what, I want to buy it. If I cannot financing, I'll pay all cash. But you better show what? More money than the purchase price, what you have in the bank, right? You're gonna have to cover that, all your proof of fund. So this is a place you mark here. That's why when I'm saying this, okay? No loan contingency, that means obtain any loan specified above is not contingency of this agreement if the buyer does not obtain a loan and as a result does not purchase the property. Seller may be entitled to buyer's deposit or other legal remedies. So that means there's no loan contingency. That means you will guarantee you get the loan, or you're willing to lose the deposit, or you pay all cash. All 3 different options. Okay. Usually we leave that because it's pretty, well, it depends on different time. If your buyer really like that property and they definitely want to try, and what I do is, if you're thinking about paying all cash, why don't you just let's get the shorten the escrow time, get the cash, and if you really want to finance, you get refi. So what's telling me so I can get my commission sooner? Deep in my heart, right? Okay. Yeah. If you got enough money and if you want to remove the no loan contingency, you want to just pay cash. 2 weeks escrow instead of 30 days. So we got better chance to get the deal. Why get so much hassle? Then you refi later. Number 5, lender limit on the buyer's credit. Any credit to the buyer from any source of a closing and other costs that is agreed to by the parties, contractual credit shall be disclosed to buyer's lender. If the total credit allowed by the buyer's lender allowance credit is less than the contractual credit, then the contractual credit shall be reduced to the lender's allowable credit. And 2, the absence of the separated written agreement between the parties, there shall be no automatic adjustment to the purchase price to make up for the difference between the contractual credit and the lender allowable credit. Anybody understand what they're talking about? Just by wording. That's why I tell you gotta have to read the purchase agreement 20 times. Guarantee you have tons of questions. Okay? What's that telling you? Because all the wording there, all issued by the attorney. So it's hard to understand. What it's actually telling you is the credit. Sometimes we give the seller give the buyer's credit, closing credit, repair credit, sometimes termite credit, or whatever the credit may be. Replacing carpet credit, painting credit, any credit. Credit on what? It's like a seller give the buyer's money. But when you give the money, buyer's lender need to know. Okay? You cannot hide it. If you really want to hide it, then keep it outside of escrow. Is it legal? Well, that's between seller and buyer. Hey, none of my business. All right. Whatever the credit, if you want to keep it outside of escrow, fine. Escrow officer, they want, huh? That's true. You know, if we want to keep it outside of escrow, sometimes the credit could be from the rent, any credit maybe. We just have what? Seller issue a cashier check to the buyer and sit in the escrow. Buyer cannot pick up that cashier check until close of escrow. That's how we keep it outside of escrow. You still keep it in escrow. Escrow officer usually will help you keep that cashier check. Okay, but you do not see any writing in the escrow instruction or whatsoever, or addendum, nothing, amendment, because that's something we don't want lender to know. Just like repair credit, we don't write repair credit. What do? Seller credit, say $2,000 tour on buyer's closing cost. So it's more like seller credit $2,000 to the buyer for their closing cost, but actually that $2,000 is repair credit. Because lender, they are not required to see, to show the request for repair. So that's why don't send request for repair to escrow officer, because escrow officer, they are third party, they are middlemen. If they see the request for repair, they are obligated, send to the lender. So in between the request for repair or responding request for repair or the addendum between a buyer and seller for the repair credit, keep it between listing agent, buyer's agent, buyer and seller. That's it. Then you issue addendum, say, seller credit $2,000 tour on buyer's closing cost. This addendum, give it to escrow officer, have them issue amendment. So this is a credit lender can know. Lender will know. So lenders, oh, okay, that seems like seller helping a buyer closing cost. Because lender doesn't like the house need the repair. They don't like to see the repair credit. Because when you see the repair credit, sometimes they say, wait a minute, is this condition of the, if the house condition is not good enough, should we fund the loan? Ooh. The only thing, you know, just like last time when I mentioned the FHA loan, they get a higher guideline. Before the close of escrow, buyer may need to get in to finish all the repair before FHA loan, they can fund it. Why? Condition, they have to meet their standard. Same thing, conventional loan, they have a minimum standard. Some of the appraisal they get in, they see the condition so bad, the lender say, no, I'm not going to fund this loan. That's why those property, they can only get the cash buyer. Because the condition is so bad. For example, some of the stuff, you know, for example, if you're missing a heater, you know, for the furnace or heater, those are, that's a requirement in California. If you're missing that, the regular lender will not finance. No electricity meter? No. They will not finance. And if you see some of a house ain't got no kitchen, yeah. Seller says, oh, because the kitchen cabinet is so bad, so I remove everything. When you remove it, and sometimes you cannot even get financing. Because it's not livable. It's not habitable. If you cannot even live in, well, no toilet. Yeah, sometimes no toilet may be an issue. Yeah. No. No. Yeah, outside of, okay, for example. Within the escrow, then just, you know, given the $2,000, that's it. Yeah, just like, you know, seller credit $2,000 to the buyers. If the seller willing to give the laundry, a washer and dryer, for example, I mean the buyer's agent,
Oh, buyer's agent want to give the buyer washer and dryer within the escrow. Okay, then I will do that. I'll issue the addendum saying buyer's agent credit $2,000 to buyer. No, you do it in the escrow. Yeah, because those are from your commission. So lender doesn't care. As long as between seller and buyer, lender do care. But if you're between agent to a buyer, or seller listing agent to seller, that's just the between the escrow buyer and seller. That's it.
Is that for that company? Is the better way is put an escrow or closing?
I will put in an escrow because I'm not going to pay the tax for buyer for my client. Okay. If you really want it, because sometimes you get $10,000 commission. If I lose 1,000 or 2, okay, I probably will do it because otherwise buyer will cancel. Okay, so it could be from appraisal value, could be from a repair credit, anything. Okay, then yeah. Sure, go ahead. For the new home? For the brand new home? Okay. In Irvine, okay. Your question, yes. Yes. Yeah, they are not allowed you to put it down in the escrow. Sometimes the referral fee, and if you want to give it to the credit to the buyer, some of the I know the escrow doesn't allow that. I know. So then, if that's the case, then we gotta either two things. What we need to do, you get the social security number from the buyer. Yeah. Then you issue your company check. Usually, we establish a company ourselves. So we're using our company check, issue the check to the buyer. So later on, we'll give you 1099. You report the tax yourself. If you want something without tax, then I gotta have to issue my personal check. Then I have to deduct 40%, close to 50% of the tax. Then I give you the cash or personal check. Okay? If that, take a pick.税局不用啊。Referral fee? You talk to the you talk to the accountant. You talk to accountant. There's a referral fee, finder's fee. Yeah. So I don't report the tax to you. So you gotta have the you issue 1099 to the buyer, okay? Because the escrow doesn't allow me to credit you during the escrow. Then I have to do it after close of escrow. Then our company, okay, RE/MAX 2000 will not send cut the check to you either. That has to be us. Yeah. So that's why you got to be clearly telling them. If they want to report their own tax, their tax bracket is lower than we do, fine. Because when we get 1099, I usually figure 40 to 50%. Half of them, I say, oh, you pay so much. But you report your own tax. You want to get cash from me? Then I gotta have to slash another half. But they didn't know how much we can write off, right? So I rather have them get cash. Why not? So I slash most of them. So I keep more, right? If they report home tax, dang, I cannot do anything. If I slash half, I can exercise more, right? Am I so bad? Buyer stated financing. Sellers replying that buyer's representation of a type of financing specified including but not limited to as applicable all cash amount of down payment
or a contingent or non-contingent loan, seller has agreed to a specified closing date, purchase price, and sell to buyers in reliable on buyer's covenant concerning financing. Buyer should pursue the financing specified in this agreement. Seller has no obligation to cooperate with buyer's effort to obtain any financing other than that specified in the agreement. And the availability of any such alternative financing does not excuse buyer from the obligation to purchase the property and close escrow as specified in this agreement. What's that wording telling you again? 又三条线了 Okay. So mainly, well, I'll just summarize that. Okay, that's what you're here for. Okay, otherwise, this wording all issued by the attorney. You know, 咬文嚼字. That's it's like it's hard to understand. It's all the attorney words. Buyer stated financing. When you get pre-qualified letter, you better stick on it. So when you tell your buyer, don't get anyone else, anybody is a pre-qualified letter, which you don't want to finance through them. Why? Once you submit it, listing agent and seller was notice, okay, this is a lender you want to use. Oh, I want to change a lender. Oh, I see. If that's at the same time, they have a better offer coming in. Can seller have to cooperating with you at a different lender? No. Can seller cancel you? Yes, because you want to switch a lender. Seller has no obligation to cooperate with the buyer's effort to obtain any financing other than that specified in the agreement. So when you send in your pre-qualified letter, that's what you agree. Later on, if you want to change a lender, you need to have the seller's permission. Otherwise, escrow would not release any escrow instruction, any information to your second lender. Okay, so be careful. Don't play with that. This is new law. Okay, after 2015, used to be we switch.
Well, but in that purchase, the first time we need to sell we need to send it.
Yeah, pre-qualified letter. You stick on it. Make sure the buyer said this is a lender you want to finance through. You ask them. Don't play with me. When you want to play with the seller say no. Even you get the escrow, they have a right to cancel you. Oh, I want to switch a lender. Okay, you better have a good reason why you want to switch a lender. Too bad. Why don't you find out if the interest rate is not good enough or mortgage rate is not good enough? Why don't you find out to begin with? Oh, I'm too bad. You gotta have to serious to begin with. If you're not serious, then you're not serious to want to buy. Because, and they can deny you. Yes. No. Then buyer cancel. Then sell it because seller have a better offer. That's a situation. Usually, yeah, seller will continue to work with you if they don't have any other offer. Okay. But just in case, if seller have a better offer, you are jeopardize your case if you don't want to use the same lender. So when we submit the offer, we better have the lender you are pretty sure you want to go with. Unless this lender cannot get financing, then because every time when you want to switch a lender, what's a sign telling seller? You cannot get finance on the first lender, right? Oh, because the interest rate is too high. So, most likely, a listing agent, we know that's BS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what? Nope. What is the maximum? 第一页呢是 maximum rate. 如果你拿的 rate higher than the maximum rate, okay. Well, 你可以取消. Why don't you cancel? You don't like it? Why don't you, the seller said, why don't you cancel? It could be negotiable if they don't have, if they don't have any other offer, anything is negotiable. When seller have other offer, it's tough. Yeah. So that's why, you know, it depends. So it's not like you, so when you are opening escrow, you better have everything ready. If something is still not ready, like the loan or something, you better, you know, watch out, pray hard. Hopefully seller doesn't have any other offer so you can continue. When the seller has other offer and similar like yours, or they have a better condition, or they have, it could be come out with an all cash offer, then you're in trouble. Or sometimes, you know, they may have a direct lenders, like, you know, the big one, not the small direct lender, the pre-qualified. And that's why when as a listing agent, when you receive the offer, did you ever call buyer's lender? You need to. It's your job as a listing agent. Before you accept, okay, you got so many offer, right? Then before you accepting the offer, you call the pre-qualified lender. Did you run their credit report? Okay, how's their credit looks like before you pre-qualify? I didn't ask a score. I said, what do you think? Are they going to most likely, because mortgage broker, they cannot really lie to you, because if they did not run it and they didn't even know, I said, they cannot answer your question, then you better prepare. Well, you ask a buyer, did you really pre-qualify? Did you ever send in the send in application, your tax return, your bank statement to your lender? Because sometimes, you know, just a friend, okay, I'll issue the pre-qualified letter, okay, from any mortgage broker. Usually direct lender, they won't do that because they're guideline. No, they cannot. They have to fill in everything, especially like some of a big lender, buyer, they need to fill in by themselves through computer, through internet. They fill in their information before they can issue the pre-qualified letter. Then once they issue pre-qualified letter, that means they already run their credit, okay, already. Even I know it didn't cost you anything, but lender, first of all, they will run their credit, see their debt income ratio first, and how much you want to buy, and what's your down payment. Even they probably doesn't see your statement yet. But when you accept the offer, you call the lender and say, well, we are about to accept the offer, but I need to know, did you ever run their credit? Did you ever see their tax return? Did you ever see their proof of fund? Yeah, because you see the bank statement yourself, you will probably know. That's fine. But did you ask them, did you ever, because you don't know their debt income ratio. The owning lender knows. If the lender say, oh, based on what they input to the computer, looks great. Well, okay, then when are you going to see the actual paperwork? Because we're about to answer. I mean, they're responding to the lender. I mean, responding to the buyer. Then I gotta know, oh, we haven't seen those paperwork yet. Okay, then I tell to the buyer, you gotta have your buyer's agent and say, you gotta have your buyer sending all the paperwork before we accept the offer. Otherwise, how do I know your number is accurate? I'll wait for you another day or two. And what another day or two may cause, anything could happen. Okay? Anything could happen because offer can continue coming in. Sometimes, you know, when you have one offer, hey, second offer coming in shortly. I don't know why, but it happens. But when you have no offer, then ain't got no offer. When you have one offer, second offer coming in, third offer coming in. Yeah. Just like you go to a restaurant, I ain't seen nobody. When I sit in, hey, people still coming in, right? No, it's not acceptance though. If the seller accepts the purchase agreement or buy or counter offer, that means it's a binding agreement. But before acceptance, before the seller signing the signature, I need to verify a buyer's credit. I mean, not buyer's credit, buyer's lender. See how their pre-qualifying letter is legitimate. Why? It's because buyer can cancel seller anytime within contingency period, but not seller. Seller cannot cancel buyer during that contingency period. Oh, yeah. So that's why when seller choosing a buyer, be careful who to choose. Otherwise, you tied up with this buyer. No. Seller cannot because, oh, I don't want to sell. No. The only contingency is contingency upon purchase. 就是 okay, then you can cancel it. But that's the only reason you can cancel. If I did not find a relocation property, okay, then default 17 days. But usually when I see that clause on the agent remark, I will notify the buyer. Think twice before we want to submit this offer, because even everything is go through smoothly, seller can still cancel us because if they cannot find the house, are you still want to submit the offer on this particular listing? Some of buyer will think twice. Okay, then we'll forget it. We'll move on next. So that's why when we say that the agent remark, you gotta have to warn the seller too. I can state that, you know, before you finding another property, you know, you cannot move out, or you rather do rent back 2 months. So that's between the listing agent. You gotta be smart enough to educate your seller, and so do, if you're the buyer's agent, educate your buyer. The maximum usually we get 2 months because buyer's lender, if the owner occupy loan, they don't like to see the well, yeah, that's a buyer have to take the risk too if they lease back. Yes. That's okay. Gas company can do it for free. Oh, outside? Okay. Oh. Okay. But how's about the inspection report? When the inspection report? Okay. Okay. Then it's I'm sorry, it's an accident. Accident do happen. Okay. So that's why. Yeah. Oh yeah. Too bad. It's like that's why you're willing to accept the rent back, then you gotta have a risk to cover the rest if there's anything wrong with the house. Well, sometimes, you know, they doing it. If my listing, I will put on agent remark. What seller want to do? Relocation a property or rent back maximum 2 months. Okay. If I particular this purchase, this, you know, actually the seller, they need to rent back maximum 2 months. But fortunately, we find a house right away. Okay. And the good thing is buyer want to move in 1 month sooner, and buyer willing to offer, give it the check to the seller. You know, we calculate the rent already. So we deduct those rent from the purchase price. So buyer actually credit seller when they move out 1 month sooner. So that's how you create win-win. Everybody happy. Yeah. Uh-huh. PITI amount. No, you don't. You set the price. I don't care the PITI amount because it's all cash.
Yeah, all cash, just the listing agents, you know.
We have to. Yeah, the rent amount, just a rent amount. Buyers, agent, listing agent, everybody negotiate what rent price. You got no loan. Yeah. So you see what's the market. Either pay the market value or a little bit less than market value. Both parties have to negotiate. Okay. Those are, you better negotiate during the before contingency period, because that's a lease back. You better have everything signed, the lease agreement before contingency period, because you not automatic. Sometimes it's lower than PITI. Hey, too bad, buyers, you pay too much. Seller say, hey, you know, my loan is cheaper, so you gotta have to negotiate in between. Yeah, if the buyers love the property so much, we give it. I have the issue is, hey, buyer, I pay all cash. Buyer, you can stay for up to 1 month for free. Would you please take my offer? I got it. Yeah. $10,000 less than finance on the purchase price. Because you gotta have to know what seller need. That's pretty important. You gotta communicate with the listing agent before you open escrow. Our seller need to, move out. Oh, great. I'll tell the buyer, hey, look, we pay this price, then we give seller for the 30 days to move out. Sure. For free. No, you don't. You.
The handle just the buyer guide, right? So at the time, just the buyer down pay only 20%, gets over 80% owner. At the time, TI is too much,
And then
at the time, buyer owner, just this is rent price.
Okay.
Then seller have to follow that.
If the seller, okay, no, it is though, because if seller did not. If you both parties did not negotiate within the purchase with the lease with the remove contingency, if buyer is not happy with what seller paying, can buyer still cancel? Yes, because seller, you actually disclose later you want to rent back after contingency. Okay, then buyer still have a right to cancel. I don't like your price. Either you pay or I cancel. Seller said, no, you cannot cancel. You already remove all contingency. Who says so? Who disclose later? Is it suppose your job as a listing agent or seller? You should disclose it before open escrow. Whose job is that? Listing agent and both seller. I'm so sorry. You change your mind. If I enforce, I'll kick you out. When you stay, when I close the escrow, what's that considered? Trespassing. Well, that's pretty nasty, isn't it? Yeah, if you get through that route, it's going to be nasty. If the seller is still staying, did not move out, and buyer, when they're closing, and that's become, trespassing, then you got to certainly hire the attorney to kick the seller out. At that situation, sellers still have money. They don't want to do that because after the lawsuit, they're going to losing more money. You better pay the rent. Or sometimes the buyer need to move in and seller just cannot stay. So that's why, as a listing agent, before to avoid that situation happen, you got to clearly ask the seller, do you have a place to move? Right? You don't want to stay there. And it's like, huh? And I'm sorry. When this lawsuit happened, listing agent, you're with it. All right? It's not going to look good at all. So prevent those situations. You better ask the seller, you do have a place to move. I say, okay. But sometimes, we kind of use that as a tool to push the seller to buy another property. Hey, win-win. You got two transactions. Uh-huh. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yes, you can sue the seller if the seller has a sublease those people by room. Okay, then when you move out, it is a seller moving out, but those tenants still inside. But as a buyer's agent, when you see anybody stranger besides seller, what do? Let me ask each one of them. No, I asked. Okay, I will ask the tenant, each one of them, if they separate. Did you ever sign a lease agreement? Okay, that's fine. Any simple lease agreement is a lease agreement, because I gotta have to let everybody know this house is for sale now. When the house closes escrow, you guys all need to move out. Do you understand that? Because seller did not disclose to them. Seller, oh, you guys can stay. It's an investor purchase. So no. Okay, look. Listing agent can lie to you. But as buyer's agent, if you want to prevent those hassle, I know you're very vulnerable, but prevent those hassle, I will see each one of them, talk to them directly. You don't let me talk to them, I cancel the offer. I gotta have the seller in, I gotta have to talk to them. Are you guys a tenant? Because when we close the escrow, all of you have to get out. Did you understand that? Huh? No, seller didn't tell me that. Seller said you are the investor, so we can stay. Aha! Okay, here's the issue. So as a buyer's agent, you gotta have to be smart enough when you sense something wrong with it. Okay? Be proactive. Be proactive to find out what's wrong with it. If you sense something not right, you rather tell buyer that's cancel. I know it's hard for us to just tell buyer to cancel the offer unless. But I love this house. So I said, well, those are most likely could be a tenant. Are you going to be evict them by yourself? If they do, okay, fine. Let buyer send a addendum with me. So later on, when you cannot evict them, it's not my fault. I did tell you that. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Me? You filed a complaint. You have a buyer filed a complaint to the listing agent. Did they have any black and white? They say they are 他们是朋友. Oh, no. If see that's being the buyer's agent. See that's the case. If the seller keep on telling the buyer's agent and buyer say they are friends, not tenant. Fine, put it in writing. See, are they willing to sign? I'm going to test them. If you can sign, that means you're lying to me because you signed it. So that's why any statement between the buyers and sellers, sometimes I have to put in writing. Who do I protect? Me, myself. Then my buyer. Okay? So don't trust anything verbally because a verbal, even I know it's oral promise is still is an obligation, but it's hard to prove it. It's really hard to prove it. But I know, but 对，可是他们 willing to testify 吗？ I know. But issue is who is going to be testify when it's court? When you go to the court, who's going to be testify? Right? So if we have black and white, 如果他们敢签字 they are friends. 如果他不敢签字 you know they are tenant. So that's why you gotta make them. I will issue the addendum for whatever the clause may be, whatever the situation. Okay. Then if they are willing to sign it, fine. Okay. So they are obligated. So when later on if they want to sue them, I have a black and white. You are lying, totally lying. Okay. Not just the seller sign it, listing agent sign it. You are ready to lose your license? Go ahead, sign it. Right? Yeah. Yes. If anything you need to verify, go ahead, call. Okay. Don't get lazy. Okay. Anything if you sense something not so proper, okay, call to find out. Find out yourself. Just like, for example, if you have sense, this part of a floor plan, it could be an addition. You don't know if they have a permit or not. Are you going to city or county? I can tell you that 95% of the agents, they are so lazy, they are not going. I do. I go to city, I go to county office, I find out if they got their floor plan. If the bedroom is not properly disclosed, when it's a 3-bedroom, now the MLS is say 4-bedroom. What happened to the other bedroom? Even the square footage is the same. I want to see any permit. If you do have a permit, then I mean they did the seller did not update it through the tax assessor. Okay, that's easy to deal with. But if do it without a permit, then I gotta have to tell buyer, hey, look, they only show 3-bedroom. I don't know where's the other bedroom. They probably put it as the bedroom. by themselves, then you better have a seller. You better have a good explanation what's going on. Yeah. Otherwise, buyer have to correct it, the right bedroom through the tax assessor or the building and safety department through county or city. That's an extra hassle. That's, if you sense that. Because the issue is the appraisal report, it will come out 4-bedroom. And the appraiser also look at the title. Wait a minute, it's a 3-bedroom. What's wrong with it? They also have a question. Yeah. So that's why being a listing agent, you got to have to be smart enough to smooth everything out. I know in some area, even it's illegal addition. As a listing agent, how do you protect me yourself? When you write a disclosure, you sell the sign, right? This is unpermitted. This it's all unpermitted, right? Then when you disclose to buyer, you understand, right? Okay. But lender never see our disclosure, isn't it? No, that's right. Buyer sign it, seller sign it, lender never know. But how do you get financing? Because I already modified the garage. I already modified the storage room. Behind the garage, both are studio. You better lock it up. Yes. Yes. No. No. Yeah, we are off the hook. Okay. Then, how do you help the buyer get financing? The listing agent, you got to smart enough. Okay. I did that. I lock up the garage. Appraiser come in and, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have a key. I hide the key somewhere over there. Well, I don't trust seller. I go to the city directly. Yeah. Okay. But I already disclose it. To the buyer. This area is unpermitted. I love that area unpermitted, so we can rent it out. Fine. So that's the purpose of the buyer want to buy that property. So have the 2 extra studio, so they can rent it out. That's why they want to buy. But that's why their lender say, hey, James, you got to help us to get financing. No problem. I'll help you. You're not just helping to lock up the garage. I delete all the photos and wording on the MLS. Because the appraiser will go on the MLS to check on it. Yeah. So I delete all the photos, all the wording. Okay. You got to make it clear. You got to have to wipe it. 要偷吃的话，记得插嘴。Okay. Yeah. Boy, am I bad to tell you those are sneaky things. But that's a true story, though. I mean, it's like it happened before. It just have to be smart enough. I know we walk on a gray zone, but the bottom line, I have to protect myself. Right? The buyer side, seller side, listing agent, buyer side, everybody all know. Yeah. But did I lie to the lender? No. I just say no key. I don't have a key. So the appraiser cannot get in. So the appraiser put on the statement, say no access to the garage. Then if the lender want to fund it, it's your lender's your issue. Right? Okay.
Case of sales with the closing date, the listing agent have to choose to buy it is mandatory.
Oh, well, the closing date?
Yeah, sales inspect still seller living on the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
The closing date, escrow closing date.
Mm-hmm.
Listing agent,
give the key. You gotta have to talk to the listing agent and say, well, look, if the seller, but before the open escrow, you gotta see when do you need to give the key, give the key to the buyer, either escrow day or COE +3 or COE +5. You gotta have to agree with that. Some of a seller, they move out after the close of escrow, then the COE +3 or +5. Both parties must be agreed. Taking possession. So that's why you have to put in a counter for that.
Last time, the selling agent asked me, so I gave them 1 cent. Even the seller still living 1 week more.
Personally, I probably won't do that. It's because if a seller lose because that 1 week you put in the paperwork, right? So basically the COE +7 Okay, so buyers agree, seller agree. I don't want those situations happen if the seller lost something and the seller starts find out, unless you get the seller's permission. If seller willing to give a set of key to the buyer, put it down. Put it down to the paperwork. So you off the hook. Seller, you give the key directly, not through me. You tell buyer, seller, here's a key to the buyer. Okay, not through me. Okay, don't throw your hand. Got it? Got it? That's right. So that's fine. You put in the paperwork, then you don't give me the key. You give the key directly to the buyer. You tell seller, you give the key directly to the buyer. Then you sign here. You release the key. You are willing to release the key to the buyers now before you're moving out. Okay? Buyer sign, seller sign. Is that fair? Yeah. Bottom line, I gotta protect me, myself, you, yourself. Try to avoid a lawsuit. You know, I hate the mediation. All right, because I've been there. That's why I'm wasting time, wasting money too. 你还是 walk through 啊？ I still walk through because the walkthrough cannot stop closing. You gotta have to know that the walkthrough cannot stop closing. You say, oh, because they did not repair. Oh, because I didn't see their sign to moving out yet. Well, you cannot stop closing. You cannot use it. Yes, the final walkthrough paperwork. If you see that, the bottom, the ball print, they say you cannot stop closing. You have to be on time closing. I know. So that's why you go to small claim court to sue seller. Yes. Yes. Buyer, you gotta have the they have to take some risk. Okay. If the seller say, oh, after they going out, they move out, and they say, oh, it's a damage there, blah 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 blah. Well, yeah. So yeah, it is though. So I mean, I could delay the escrow if I still have some time. Okay, then because I want to see the most of the area, instead of they are all live in. Because if they still live inside, or still you give the seller for another 1 week or 2 weeks, you gotta have to take the risk on that. Just like for example, last time I got a cash offer and I let the seller stay there for over a month, but actually they move out after 2 weeks later. But you gotta have to sense that if the sellers are nice people or not. They live there since it's brand new, so they've been living for 30 years. Then usually they won't, and they move to the senior condo, senior townhouse, and they even fix whatever even extra. We didn't even ask them because they figure it's their baby. Okay, so you gotta have to sense what kinds of seller you deal with though. So we got really nice smooth transaction because the buyers in foreign country, they never see the house, and I rent after I help them to bought it. I help them to purchase. Okay, close it, rent it out. Did they ever still see it? Not yet. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been probably half year already. They haven't seen the property yet. Yeah, because that's based on the trust, and I gotta have to basically protect them. Whatever the best their interest. So they're happy for whatever I did, and rent it out. The new tenant move in. Everybody happy. Yeah. That's okay. You tell buyer we gotta replace the lock anyway. No, seller 1把钥匙都不给你. That's okay. You tell buyer we need to replace the key anyway. Do we? You replace the cylinder. You replace the lock. Are you gonna still? Are you willing to let someone still get in? Seller? Because who knows? Seller may be rented out to someone else before. They have a key too. So why don't you just replace everything for your own protection? Too bad. Okay. Mailbox, $50. HOA, $50 to $70, $75. Okay. You apply for another key. Okay. Those are, I'm sorry, those are the buyer need to pay for it. Well, if the, well, that's, you gotta have to give the educate the buyer. When you take the possession for the property, you better replace the lock. You gotta have to spend the money. Are you gonna let somebody to walk in your house? You gotta educate them. So that's why the buyers, 不要以为说我们这行很好做 ，OK？ Our job is not easy. We gotta pamper the buyers, so do the seller. So I mean, so they will get well educated because a lot of things they would never thought about it. But it's our job, isn't it? Yeah. Because the more you do, they will trust you more. It's harder earning a trust, but once you're earning the trust, it's hard to break. And once you close of escrow, okay, you gotta have to educate them. Once they close of escrow, if you still service them just like you before the escrow, believe me, they will be with you long time in their lifetime, as long as you're in the career. That's our job. So that's why I'm telling you, when it's close of escrow, our job just begin. It's not finished. Our relationship is not finished with them. We're just a beginning with their relationship because long time. So when I value a client or the customer, I don't value them this transaction. I value it in their lifetime. How many they can give you the referral? That's count. Okay. If you just want to do it on one time, it's too tough. Every time you gotta have to find a lead. You rather have your buyer or your seller or your client chasing you, not you chasing them. That's different because you showed your professional. And those are tiny issues. They never thought about it, but you tell them first. Do you need help for the mover? And do you need the locksmith to replace the door, the lock, before the close of escrow? You start telling them. Sure. Sure. You can write anything in your addendum. You can ask the seller anything you want. You can write an addendum, say you gotta give me how many remotes and blah, how many keys and the mailbox key. If you do not, you gotta give me the credit. Sure. Then see if the seller sign. If the seller doesn't want to sign, do you still want to buy? You already remove your own contingency. Who's gonna pay? Agent. Yeah, what I end up with? Who's paying? Agent. Buyer's agent, all right? You don't want to argue with those couple $100. Just make them feel happy. Okay? So those are, it's a service. Okay, fine. I'll take care of for you. Okay? I'll hire the locksmith to replace the cylinder. I don't replace the whole lock. I'd rather say, why don't you just replace the cylinder so I unify all the doors, one key. Easier. Right? Yeah. Okay, number 4, sale of buyer's property. 4A, the agreement and the buyer's ability to obtain the finance are not contingent upon the sales of any property owned by the buyer. So that means default is when we buy this property, we are not obligated, need to buyer's ability to obtain the financing, okay? Not contingent upon sale of any property. Like what? Buyer need to buy the property before they can sell their own house right now. So it's become a 2 escrow or 2 property tied up together. If you want to accept those offer, default, that's not. If you mark it B, for if your buyer needs to sell their own home before they can purchase this one, you mark B. So that's a COP. It's agreement of a buyer's ability to obtain financing or contingent upon the sales of property owned by the buyer as specified in the attached addendum. COP, contingency on purchase. So the buyer's contingency on purchase. Purchase what? They have to sell their own home. Otherwise, they have no money to buy another home. And seller, are you going to willing accept this type of offer? Of course, when you have no offer, or your listing has been sitting on the market for a long time, would you consider? I did that before. Seller accepted, fine. Because seller, they want to, sell the house. Because seller, they want a divorce. And the buyers is and the buyers also the buyer is also a buyer's agent. And the buyer's agent, they want to buy this house. Their house also for sale. So we gotta have to deal with, 2 escrow, 3 transaction, right? Buyer need to sell their own house, 3 agent, and they can, after they sold it, so they can buy ours. So that's why everybody have to communicate, not just the seller. You have other escrow need to communicate. See how they're doing, how's the buyers doing. Yeah. The longest chain, what I got is the 5. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. I'm the 3rd one, the most vulnerable one, the middle one. That will make you a heart attack. If anybody break, then rest of them is break. Okay, the broken chain. It's all chain reaction. So you gotta have to, from the first one, I don't really care whoever behind me, okay? But I gotta have to find out the first one. The last one, they're pretty bad. You gotta make sure the first one, sell it and close it, sell it and close it, sell it. So we close actually next day. Very likely all 5 transactions close smoothly, after whole weeks. Because once they close it, this escrow, actually wire the money to next escrow. Part of a down payment, okay? Then this escrow wire the part of a down payment to the other escrow. So the lender can fund it. So within a couple of weeks, we close. Because you have to wire the money so the lender will fund it. Think about 2 to 3 days, close one escrow. 2 to 3 days, close one escrow. So take 2 weeks to close everything. Yeah. So those are, you gotta be, that's the only thing when there's a downtime, then you don't really have much choice. Then you can only accept the contingency offer like this, contingency on purchase. Okay. When it's I think this one probably happened on the early 2000 when the market's not so hot. Then we have to do it like that. Chain reaction. So that's why our job is fun, lots of fun. So you gotta, I will cover you the COP later, okay? Contingency on purchase. Or the other one, I will also cover that as contingency on selling, because sometimes the seller have to find a relocation, okay? Just like what you say is like 17 days, contingency period. Same thing, COP also default 17 days. I'll cover that later on. Number 5, addenda and advisory. Those are the actual form you want to add it. If yours is a backup offer addendum, okay. If yours is a backup offer, fine. Septic, well, property, or monument addendum. Those addendum I will go over with you. If this is the property has a septic or well, or property monument addendum, that's a historical building. Short sale addendum, we hardly see that now, but you need to know. If you want to deal with short sale, you submit the short sale purchase agreement. Don't forget this, short sale addendum. And any addendum you want to submit beside this purchase agreement, you can do that. Here's addendum. Court confirmation addendum. What's that? When it's happened? Probate, divorce. They need a court confirmation addendum because those are being forced to sell, or bankruptcy sometimes. Okay, court order to sell the property. Then, or any others, you can put it over there. And B, buyer and seller advisory, probate advisory. If you submit the probate purchase, you need to submit it for the probate advisory. Trust advisory. If the living trust sale, you gotta submit trust advisory. Besides, it's a purchase agreement. Okay, so you need to add it. Short sale information advisory. Those are for seller, SSIA. We, as a buyer, we submitted short sale addendum. But for seller, we submit short sale information advisory if you need to have that. You actually you submit it. You know, make sure the seller will give it to you. Put it this way: make sure the seller will give it to you. Yeah. And the buyer's inspection advisory, we already have that at the last page, automatically attached with the purchase agreement. Statewide buyer and seller advisory. Those are our last defense of our disclosure. REO advisory. If you're buying a bank-owned property, please submit the REO advisory. So why those advisory or addendum? Who actually protected? It's your client, but actually the bottom line. Yourself, myself, okay? That's how why we got so many paperwork and why we put all the statement into or anything into the black and white paperwork. Don't use the word or verbally agreement. Remember that. So we all learn from the hard way. It's okay. Just like, you know, you have an argument before, and because the buyer and seller are not happy with it, next time you put it into black and white on the addendum. That's okay. We share the information, we share the experience, and that's how we, you know, learn from the mistake and hard way. And any other term, if you have any other besides that, for example, some of a property you cannot really get in to see it. What do? Subject to interior inspection. That's what we usually do, right? You submit the offer before you see an interior inspection. Some of a property you cannot really get in until the you submit the offer, because the seller looking for serious buyer. So you gotta have to show everything before you enter into the property to, you know, to view the property. Then that means you put it right here, subject to interior inspection. That means I have to see it. Then I will tell you, am I going to purchase, or am I going to purchase this price or whatever the price may be? I may resubmit the purchase price if I'm not happy with it, or I'm so happy with it I want to pay you more. Usually it won't happen, because that means the seller must be satisfied your purchase price before they will let you in. So you don't really want to pay more. What happened is that you look at the condition, you start negotiating less. And the seller got pissed. That's about it, you know. So unless they have agreed, but that's, you know, it's like based on exterior, it looks fine. Interior looks like, ugh. Yeah. But usually if the landscape, everything, you know, outside looks fine and the condition, usually not too bad inside, because those are personality of the seller. You know, if they can keep it outside, they will keep it inside better, usually. Yeah. Because they live inside, they don't live it outside. Most of the Asian, they don't care landscape. They just let it dry, let it die on the grass. Okay, it may happen like that, but the inside usually looks better. Yeah. Number 7, allocation of the cost. 7A, inspection report and the certificate. Unless otherwise agreed in writing, this paragraph only determines who is paid for the inspection, test, certificate, service report mentioned. It does not determine who is to pay for any work recommended or identified in the report. So 7A1. I mark it, okay, seller should pay for the natural hazard zone disclosure report, including environmental. okay, and prepared by whatever you, if you wish, you know, any company you wish to, for those report. Okay, and 7A2, seller should pay for following report. What? Turbine inspection report, and they can choose. So seller's choice, prepared by seller's choice. 3, I even stated here, buyer will pay for following report, general inspection, buyer's choice. Your buyer's report, you know, for the physical report on that. So those are pretty clear because this part is report. They say, how about the turbine completion? Don't rush. I have it next one. Okay. This part is only for reports. Here, reports. Okay. They didn't tell you completion here. Okay. So don't get, you know, too excited yet. B, government and requirement and the retrofit. I mark it as usually seller will pay for the small alarm carbon monoxide device, installation, water heater, bracing if required by law. Prior to close of escrow, seller should provide buyer written statement. It compliances with accordance with the state and local law unless seller is exempt. Usually seller doesn't get exempt, you know, for the small detector and the carbon monoxide detector, and also for the earthquake strap. E2, seller should pay for the cost of compliance with any other minimum mandatory government inspection and report if required as condition of closing escrow under any law. 2B22, okay, seller should pay for the cost of compliance with any other minimum mandatory government retrofit standard requirement as a condition of a close of escrow under any law, whether the work is required to be compliant before and after close escrow. The B22, that's more like a city inspection. Okay, so we ask the seller to pay for that. And 2, that's a seller should pay for the cost. You know, if you talk about a 2-1, that's just a minimum government inspection and reports if they need to. So if they have to give it for what? The city inspection report. Then after the city inspection report, if the buyer is satisfied, or you require the city seller to complete it, or after close of escrow, that's a B22. After close escrow, who pay for it? Buyer. So buyer need to get the promissory, you know, with the city, with the promise the city say within 90 days I will complete. And so the city inspector will come back again. I usually didn't take those risks. I gotta, you know, just make the seller to finish up. For example, the city of LA, they require on the low flow shower head, low flow toilet. You gotta have to replace it. I gotta have to tell, I'm sorry, you gotta have to replace it. The toilet is not qualified anymore. So seller gotta give the report first. It could be from third party certified by the LA city. Then you gotta have a seller, you know, to report it. So because those paperwork, escrow need to have it before you can do the transferring the title. So those some of the city, they do require the city inspection like Pasadena, El Monte. Some of the city, they all need that. 2-3, buyer should provide and within the time specified in paragraph 14A, a copy of required government conductive and point to sale inspection report prepared pursuing the agreement or in anticipate of this sales of a property. See, seller cannot hide the city inspection report. Okay, even you remove the contingency and and if the seller doesn't know, and even after the buyer removed contingency and they found out they need a city inspection, so they apply for the city inspection and give it to the buyer. Buyer's not happy with it. Can buyer still cancel? Yes. Get their money back. Yes, because seller disclosed later. So you gotta give whatever the report. You gotta give 5 days this buyer to review, and buyer can still cancel because you disclose too late after the contingency period. C, escrow and title. C1, the buyer and seller should pay for escrow 50-50. Why I say 50-50? Because it used to be I say their own portion, okay, on their reasonable cost. But now I change to 50-50 because some of the escrow pretty sneaky. They put seller's cost into all buyers. So buyer pay for seller's escrow fee. Did you ever see that? So that's why the some of the escrow, they're advertising, they say only $500 for the transaction. And who paid the most? Buyer. Seller only pay 500. So I change when I say 50-50, that means half-half. Well, escrow, you gotta have to follow the instruction because this is the main instruction. So we split half-half, 50-50. It could be, but I mean, then I can, after the escrow later, when I want to sue escrow, when the buyers want to sue escrow. Wait a minute, since I overpay. Yeah, when I overpay, can you, after that, if you want to sue escrow, I don't think escrow was so stupid. For this, if I put it like this, then I mean, I already, if buyers agree, seller agree, that means seller also agree, you pay split half-half. They may not tell you for, yeah. That's right. But I mean, if you, 不过 buyer 的部分来讲, if it's unreasonable over the normal price, depending on how much you purchase, okay, then you have a right to challenge. 你跟 escrow 讲说 ，okay, are you sure you split half-half? Because 我还没写的话 ，if you, yeah, 对 so if it's not 50-50, you know, if my buyer, if you are pretty sure you're 50-50, okay, that's fine. But it seems like I'm normal. Okay, I give you the chance to correct it right now. Give buyers some discount. So I give the way out. Give the buyer some discount. Okay, they cannot change the seller's part, $500. But I mean, escrow have to reduce a buyer's part to normal price. Okay, because we can pretty much calculate it. What's the normal price of escrow? Or you ask other escrow company to ask, you know, how much usually for this price of a this price of the escrow, and how much, you know, I mean, this price of a purchase price, and how much, you know, for the escrow fee. Okay, if it's couple $100 within even $500, I think it's still normal. But if like $1,000, wait a minute, something wrong with it. He said, well, I'll give you the chance, okay, to discount it. Otherwise, if my buyer wanted after you, then you have to disclose the seller's part. Then you have no right to charge me. Wait, okay, it's okay. As long as normal. 我没有要求说, what I'm saying is like, if the say total escrow fee is $4,000, and you charge seller $500, and you charge buyer $3,500, obviously you know something wrong with it. That's the issue I'm, you know, trying to prevent. Yeah. Because if I say normal charges, the escrow says, yeah, that's our normal charges. Yeah, right. Because I want to make sure they are 50-50, half-half, or you can put half-half if you want. And whatever the escrow company, usually I put the seller's choice. You know, if he doesn't know the sellers, you know, what the escrow company they want to use. And the parties shall within 5 days after acceptance sign and return the escrow holding general provision. So escrow instruction have to be returned within 5 days according to the contract. Don't delay, okay? Let your buyer know. Once we receive it, we have 5 days, sign it and return it. Because sometimes the buyer just keep on delaying. Oh, because I didn't give it this. Some people, you know, the buyer say, I don't want to return the disclosure statement either. No. Buyers, the sellers will give it to you. You have to sign everything back. Give it back to them. Otherwise, they can give us a notice buyer to perform, even within the contingency period. I need a report back. Otherwise, I can cancel you. Can I? Yes. And the C2, seller should pay for the owner title insurance policy specified in paragraph 13E, or B, and the owner's title policy to be issued by, usually we put seller's choice. Okay, if he doesn't know, you know, what they want to choose. And buyer should pay for any title insurance policy insured by the buyer's lender unless otherwise agreed in writing. So buyer usually pay the title insurance company to their lender for their amount of financing. Some buyers, I don't want to pay the title insurance. Okay. 2 ways you can do. 1, you pay all cash. You don't pay lender's title insurance. Or you make seller to pay. That's going to be tough. Yeah. And D, other cost. You can pretty much see, we mark seller, all of them. Seller should pay for the county transferring tax fee. Seller pay for the city transferring tax fee. Seller should pay for the owners association transferring fee. And number 4, doesn't matter. Seller will need to pay HOA fee for preparing document requirement by the deliverer to the civil code. So that means before, right after close the escrow, seller have to order the HOA package. They have to pay for it. They cannot take it out from the buyer's initial deposit. Okay, they have to wait into escrow and pay that document. And 5, seller should pay for the HOA fee preparing all documents other than those requirements civil code. If they do have extra, we still ask seller to pay. And buyer should, then here, buyer to pay for the HOA certification fee. What's that? This one is added. So this is no choice. One is a seller, one is a six. Number 6 is buyer. Why? That's a condo certificate or the PUD certificate. Those are for lender to use. And buyer need to pay for it, not seller. I know sometimes the people still arguing, so that's why they put it at number 6. Buyer pay, no argument. Buyer pay. I don't want to pay certification fee. Fine, you pay all cash. Then you don't have to, because who need that? Lender. Your lender need it, because that is mainly they want to see what's the owner occupier rental ratio, and see if the HOA have any litigation, and see if they have any reserve, okay? And so do the anybody default. How many percent of the residents default, and also their master insurance, if the insurance coverage enough or not. That's a 5 major items that what lender want to see it. That's why they need a certification. Okay. Number 7, if the seller need to pay any private transfer fee, if applicable. Some of the area they may have a private transferring fee. Okay. And here, number 8, that's what I reflect to the one on the report. Seller should pay for termite clearances report completion, section 1 with 1 year warranty. Because this is a cost when I mark it right here. So I mark it here to reflect on the one on the report. Not only seller need to give us a report, I also require the seller give us the completion for the termite. Why I separated termite completion? Okay. Well, why I have to say termite clearance and repair completion? A lot of people just say termite completion. Termite completion can be like, okay, I do the termite treatment completion. That's it, I did. But I did not do the repair. Wood repair. Okay, that's the sneaky part. Okay, so that's why I did it right here. The termite clearances treatment. Then also repair, wood repair completion. And section 1 with 1 year warranty. Some of the free termite inspection, they have no warranty. Even they cannot find anything. Then the buyer, later on they found out they cannot after that termite company because seller find this and have no warranty. As soon as possible. Without the termite inspection report, I will not remove contingency. That's how you're holding the seller responsible. Okay. Without the HOA document, I will not remove the HOA contingency. And if there's no termite report, I will not remove the inspection contingency. That's part of it. No. Termite clearances, that's before close of escrow. But at least termite inspection report. You gotta have to give me the inspection report first. Yes. Completion, that's part of a negotiation. Why I put it right here? Because I don't want to wait until request for repair. It might be too late because it's going to be the large amount. So I rather have the seller promise buyer you want to do the termite. Then we square away the other repair for the general inspection later. But don't forget, you have to mark it when the request for repair. You gotta have to repeating this termite. You gotta make sure seller pay for the termite. Okay, if you forgot to check that, it's going to be the argument because the request for repair, it could be supersede the purchase agreement. Because you submit the form later, you forgot to check. The seller say, I'm not obligated, even I know I promised you, but you on the request for repair, you forgot to check the termite. Oh, who paid? Buyer's agent. You could, if you have a clear report, that's fine, but make sure it's not the free one because the free one doesn't have 1 year warranty. If the seller pay for the inspection fee, say $89, $90, $100, those are usually with 1 year warranty because later on, if anything, the buyer found it, to make sure the clearance and also the inspection report, they have 1 year warranty. State that as a statement. Okay. Section 1, that means visible, okay? Visually, you can see the termite. Section 2 is doubt, reasonable doubt. Visually, we cannot see it, but reasonable doubt. That is section 2. Okay? So, for example, how does section 2 become a section 1? For example, if you have a reasonable doubt this wall has a termite, you open the drywall and you see the termite, that's become section 1 because you see it now. If you open the drywall, no termite, hey, buyer, patch the wall. You pay. Because you force us to open the wall and drywall and see if it has a termite because because it has a water leak before. Then you have to pay for patching the wall. No, termite's a termite. Mole is a mole. Yeah. I know, they check on the fungus, but fungus is not mole because the mole is usually a general inspection report. You'll see on the mole. Okay, if they say the black substance like mold, they will not tell you exactly the mold. They will tell black substance looks like mold. Then the buyers say you gotta have to, then I gotta have to. If the buyer do concern the mold, they better hire the mold inspector. So when as a listing agent, be smart. Tell the seller thoroughly hire the cleaning maid, thoroughly clean up the whole house, scrub the tile and the gravel, especially bathroom has a mold. Clean it up. Why you cause trouble for buyers when they do the inspection? When you can do it yourself, everything, hire a couple $100, $300-400, you hire the cleaning maid, thoroughly clean up everything. Right? You can do that. Yeah. Let me just finish Supreme Report. We'll come back at number 8. Okay, and if you have any others you want the seller or buyer pay for, you can put it over there. And here's the seller should pay for the cost not to exceeding, because a condo, so I put it a little bit less, $500. If the house, I put $600, including roof. If there was a swimming pool, they're probably $800, $900, depending on the regular pool or saltwater pool. If the septic, well, it's over $1,000 easily for the home warranty part. Okay. So those are, for the, I usually put an upgrade, 1 year home warranty, okay, and issue by whatever you choose, okay, because usually I like to choose a home warranty because later on I have to deal with it for the buyer, not seller. Seller says, I want to choose a home warranty. You say, are you going to deal with the buyer, my buyer, later on? Well, I'll let you choose it. That's fine. Yeah, because usually you might select somebody you're easy to talk to. And why I choose this company, because they have the Chinese speaking sales rep. So somebody said, hey, you call them. So last job, I try to minimize my responsibility. Okay, I will try to utilize my time. I only have 24 hours too. Well, they will cover. The policy all different. They just the price different, coverage different. Yeah, they all have it though. It depends on which company you choose. They all have a policy to cover a septic tank, definitely. And buyers are informed that the home warranty plan have many options coverage. Okay, in addition to the list above, buyers advised to investigate those coverage to determine those they may be suitable for the buyer. So you can issue, or you can give the buyer, say, okay, this is a website, or they have a pamphlet or brochure. You give it to the buyer, and whatever the option you want to be, you can add it up. So if the seller only covers so much and the buyer want more, buyer can add the extra money within the escrow, adding more items. If the seller is not agreed, then rest of them, buyer can pay for it. And B, okay, buyers waive the purchase of a home warranty plan. Nothing is in the paragraph preclude a buyer's purchasing a home warranty plan during the term of this agreement. Sometimes buyers may need to waive that. They say, I don't really care much on the home warranty. The house is all remodeled, or house is a brand new house. I don't need a home warranty. And sometimes the seller can decline on that too. Seller can say, I'm not going to pay for a home warranty. You want to buy it? Buy it the way it is. I don't want to pay for a home warranty. Seller can do that. And so the buyer can waive that. Okay. So those are just a check mark for that. Okay, we'll stop here. Then we'll come back at paragraph 8 on Thursday. Thank you for coming.